welcome once again to Marilyn Hawes. And Marilyn, weeks go swiftly by, but things are the same in many respects. Nothing seems to get done. Poor old Keir Starmer, and poor old Rachel. And no wonder she finished in tears. And we've still not heard about that, the truth, have we?
No, I mean, she probably had a punch up with the leader of the house or something, or I mean, my
Yes.
my husband came out with something far more unrepeatable. But
Yeah.
but no, nothing's getting done. It just goes from bad to worse. I mean, oh, we're going to. I mean, I love the bit about which was again not talked about in Parliament, of course. This way of dealing with the migrants, so we can't smash the gangs anymore. We'll have one in and one out. Perfect. So 1,400 people have come across since that was talked about and sort of signed off without any debate in Westminster. And so does that mean he's going to get 1,400 back? And of course, and Macron can choose who he wants. So goody goody, we get to keep the pedos and the rapists and the terrorists. Excellent. So he takes away the ones that have got skills, does he? How on earth is this going to work? It can't. It won't. It is la la land.
It's a dead duck. This veto that was written in small letters at the bottom of page 59 about him having, as I say, the veto. I mean, we're going to finish up with rubbish, and they're
Oh,
going
we've got
to.
rubbish anyway. I mean, you'll be struggling to send any decent ones back. I mean but I mean what was it they did today? Did I see? Oh, they used tear gas to stop a boat leaving. Well, that's not going to stop a boat leaving. They get on another one. Get some knives, slash them, or we if you want one for one, then the 1,400 that have come, you can have them back.
It's
1,400 of them. That's one for one, isn't it?
yeah, it's showcasing
It
and looking
is.
good.
It is.
But
And
I mean, if you talk about Muppets, let's
oh,
talk about Macron and Starmer together there, giving each other a real good cuddle.
oh, a lot of back slapping
Oh,
going on, aren't we
it,
wonderful? And oh dear, treated like some celebrity Macron. I mean, he's just awful, awful. But I mean, I just don't see how. I just don't see how they think this isn't. It's not a deterrent. That's the point.
no, if you do the
If they
math,
got in the boats and
yeah,
they went all of them back, then they wouldn't come over here because they think, what's the point? We're going to spend all this money and we're going to be sent packing. So they wouldn't come. It's as simple. It's simple. But then you've got to get rid of all the human rights lawyers that are within, as in the guy who's the Attorney General. He's human rights, isn't he? You've got to come out of the EHCR. We absolutely have to come out of it. And I think they're using or twisting the EHCR, they're twisting it, or ECHR, whatever it's called. Yeah, ECHR, they're twisting it. They're like making it fit their purpose.
well, we know Sir Keir is very much in favour, not of warfare, but of lawfare, and he thinks he can solve the problems that way. Well, I'm sorry, doing the math, you've got 1.5% of people may or may not go. That's nothing. And
It's
that's not the real problem, as we keep mentioning. The real
not,
problem is students coming over here, overstaying there 3 years or whatever, and then they become illegal. But no, they bring their families in and everybody settles on stupid Britain. Let me compare that with Spain. Now, we've had a dreadful attack very close to us in one of the villages of a 68-year-old pensioner.
yes, I saw that this morning.
And what's happened there is that the whole village, about 3,000 of them, have got up in arms and saying, we don't want any more illegal immigrants coming into our country. Now, put simply, wake up, Britain. Why aren't you doing that?
Yeah, they were three Moroccan men, weren't they, or something?
Yes, they were.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm from Morocco. There's a song, isn't there? But we won't go there. Now, having said that, come on, we're too nice, too welcoming, and they eat us raw from the
To,
NHS point of view, from the
to,
schools, from the doctor's point of view, the dentist, you can have a big string. And now they're complaining. Well, some of them are complaining But the biggest complaint is the local authorities, of course, who are saying, oh, these poor children that have snuck in under the radar, we've got to give them a day out at the theme park. And crazy golf, it is crazy golf. Never mind about them. We've got to pay for
What
that.
about the children here whose parents can't afford to take them on holiday,
Exactly that.
or they can't afford the school trip? You
Yes,
know, it's and they all get given a phone when they arrive. They all get given a phone. How many of them are bringing in disease? And I'm not being unkind on this, but how many of them, they don't have inoculations? You got measles going around again. You know, measles is absolutely outrageous because of the low uptake with MMR. That's another. But are some of those children that have come in on these routes that didn't have inoculations when they were babies, and now, of course, I was listening to the program on Five Live today, and it's dreadful if people don't have, this MMR program has been around since what was the 60s, 70s, something like that. And of course, you get all the fake news about vaccine, and these things then happen. I mean, measles, what it can leave you with is dreadful. And even if you overcome it, there was one that said that you could 9 years later get encephalitis and you will absolutely die. So you could be a 10-year-old that wasn't inoculated by your parents. And I don't understand it. They said all this stuff about it causes autism. It doesn't. They said that the woman that was on, she was very, very good. And yeah, so you don't know what diseases they're bringing in as well.
indeed.
Diphtheria, that's another one no,
Yes,
diphtheria went out with the brown football, didn't it?
yes, 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 yes. We're going to move on. Well, for public demand and to satisfy that ilk, we're going to talk about. Everybody gets confused about this Gen Z, Gen Y, millennials, whatever. Uh, millennials are the same as
Gen Z, isn't it?
well, millennials are the same as Gen Y. If you talk about, as we've mentioned, Gen Z, that's if you were born between 1997 and 2012,
Yeah,
you're a Gen Zer. And the generation or half generation before that, you're a
yeah.
millennial. And here we go. They've got very thing. No, the millennials are not as far gone as the Gen Zers. I'll explain that. Because what does it mean? Well, they're, of course, part of the digital generation big time. They know nothing outside of their telephones, usually telephones, sometimes iPads, etc. And they have certain beliefs, let's call them. And their beliefs are, well, basically, it's we can't do anything without a smartphone. You mustn't. You can't wake up in the morning. You can't walk out in the street unless you've got a in front of you. You need the incentive. But you believe in diversity. Oh, thought that might come up again. You're a political liberal, whatever that means. Well, it's not. Yes, it is. It's left of centre.
I was
Well,
just going to say, isn't that what they're called lefties, aren't they?
they're called lefties, but it sounds a bit better when it's presented that way. They are experts on mental health. Yes,
Oh, okay.
not
Okay.
surprisingly, and they care. Well, it's good to care about mental health, but they are politically very left of centre and very socialist. Now, why are they like this? Well, of course, it's brainwashing from nursery school. You've got all the intelligentsia looking after you to make you the new generation of woke, and it still goes on. They take advantage of everything that they can. Now, I'm saying this in a sort of nice way because they feel entitled.
Mm.
They expect
Mm.
everything to go their way.
Hmm.
They've been brought up this way, they've known it, and oh, the state should be providing this and that. Now they are counting on the state to solve all their problems. Wow, they must feel a bit let down at the moment. And what we have here is somebody that let me give personal experience in this because we face this as employers in our poor um, business. And I mean that literally at the moment. If you're in hospitality in Britain,
Mm,
as
yeah.
we are, then you are under the thumb. Thank you, Rachel. The tears of Rachel, by the way, were crying for our business sector. I don't think they were. But you've got a situation where well, there are lies coming out every day that people don't realize. For a start, 2% extra on your national insurance. No, it's not. It's a heck of a sight more than that because they've lowered the threshold. It now comes in at £5,000. Now that's big for
That's a lot.
hospitality
Yeah.
because it means that you can't employ people for 4 hours a day anymore without paying ridiculously high rates. So it's a big tax. Put that on if you're a pub owner, they reckon every day one pub is going to go down in the
Mm,
next few years because you're taxed over the hill. Alcohol is taxed like mad. You've
yeah.
got to charge, bearing that in mind, what a person is drinking. No wonder a pint is X amount of pounds these days.
Well,
It's
you can hardly go into a pub. A large glass of wine now is just something like £9.50.
But my goodness me, it must be good wine. Oh, you're in the silly south. There's
No, but I
good
mean,
wine.
I go into Aldi and get two bottles for the same price.
Exactly.
That's what annoys me is when you go to the pub and you see coming off the shelf the identical wine that you bought for £4.50 in Aldi, and
Yeah.
you're paying £9 for a glass. That annoys me because of how you got the audacity to pour it from that bottle when you know you can get it down the road.
Yeah, I mean it is as simple as that, but there are things behind that, of course,
Oh
because
yeah,
you get a franchise,
yeah.
a big brewery, they're doing very well out of stuff that, and you have to charge prices to get back because the
Mm.
margins that these great big monoliths that are controlling the industry, the margins are very small. So you have to make it on food and on whatever you can.
Yeah.
Bottles of water, turn the tap on, get it for a hundredth of the price. It is a sector that is going through change. So sweetness and life, it ain't. But I tell you what, it's compounded by the generation that will decide to work or not work. We are desperate, like anybody else in the industry, for staff,
Mm.
and you get what you can. And having said that, what happens? They come in with their telephones, and you can no longer say to a person, put that blooming phone away. There's the customers, serve them and be polite. Because if you do, they take you to tribunal
Oh,
for harassment. I mean, everything's stood on its head at the moment. Then you've got the average high street, of course, which are barbers,
mm,
allegedly,
mm.
coming from Turkey eastwards and westwards,
Nail bars.
and nail bars. And one thing is common. We don't want credit cards, bet they don't. We want cash.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Yeah. But it's
money
money laundering, isn't
launderers.
it?
It
A lot
could
of the
be.
car washes are as well, money laundering.
Yes. And let's go further and say Deliveroo.
Mm.
Now, one of our offspring has followed mum and dad in that business and has opened a pack at the moment, one, but more on the way. That takes courage in this climate. Posh pizzas, let's call them. They're
Oh,
designer pizzas. It's not your margarita. It's proper stuff, and you've got to pay extra for it. If you
yeah.
open in the right place, it's all right, but you can't compete on the average high street because anybody can undercut you. Because pizzas, you make a lot of money just having the bog standard pizza. But the posh ones, no, you don't. So he's got the problem of Deliveroo and other companies. Because, of course, what happens is a genuine or an ungenuine Deliveroo driver franchises his particular employment to one of the illegals. and they have no cover, no insurance cover for the bike or whatever they deliver it in. And the police actually have started cracking down. Too late. The Deliveroo genuine delivery man, which represents only 40%, 60% are illegal with Deliveroo, has a genuine posh, good word that I keep using it, bag to keep your pizza warm.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And the police know that, of course, so they know who to stop and arrest technically. But what are they going to do with them when there's no place for them in jail and the average sentence that they'll get off with is like shoplifter?
But that's another thing, you see. I mean, that must also apply to Just Eats as well, mustn't it? You know, Just Eats must be another one that because there's a
It is.
rivals.
They've seriously lost their place.
Yeah,
They've
they
been
have. But I
taken
mean, they
over and it's
were
done them no good.
talking about uh, prison places. I saw something on the news, I think it was yesterday, and they were saying that there are people in that's what they should look at every single person that's in prison and find out how long they've been in there for and why are they in there. And there's someone that has been in there for 13 years because they stole a mobile phone. And that person has now got mental health issues because that's what prison did to them. There's somebody else who stole a bike or a scooter, I think it was, something like that, electronic thing, has got 20 years. But that's insane. When you've got paedophiles, online paedophiles having suspended sentence, they should go look at Lucy Connolly. They should go
Yes.
through who is in there for what reason. Oh, you didn't pay your tax. Right. Well, quite frankly, you're not a threat to the public. They could clear out a whole load of spaces in the prisons by looking at every single prisoner as to, right, how long, what was it for? Are they a risk? And instead of letting the ones that have just gone in the last recent years, there will be those, and those can't be just only two. There must be other people like that.
Yeah, let's move on to a similar topic of this, and which comes out of this indeed, and that's jury trial.
Oh, yes.
Now, before everybody stands up and says, of course, we want to have a trial by jury, it's fair and it's by our peers, and we'll get a good outcome, we hope. But now
Mm.
we're giving a judge and perhaps two magistrates, that's three of them, all the power. And the reason is, of course, there are many, many thousands of cases. It's going to take years to get through that lot of cases because having a jury and setting up a jury is no mean event. It's difficult for various reasons. You've got to make sure that the right jury is there for that particular case. And it's very easy to say, oh, well, I'm not going to go on this because of my past or whatever.
But they don't go into it that deeply, do they? You just get called up and you're sat in a waiting room and it's so and so, so and so, and so and so. You're in this court, so and so, and so. You don't know. Isn't it randomly done from the electoral roll?
Oh, yes, but you can object, can't you? And
Oh, or not. You can only object if you've got, you're going to miss dialysis or you've got
yeah,
chemotherapy or that sort of thing. Because my grandma didn't want to do it and she got off because and it's fair, she had very, very bad arthritis and she couldn't sit
don't
for
sit
very
for
long
that
without being
long.
in a lot
No,
of
no,
pain.
no.
So the doctor, and she got off because she said, she didn't want to do it. A, because of that, but B, because she said, I, I, I will never know what the truth is, so I don't want to have to judge someone. And I sometimes think with some of these outcomes and where things have gone wrong, you've got people, I mean, anyone, you could be 21 and go on a jury. You haven't got enough
Yes,
life experience. And, certain people you don't understand about life and backgrounds and trauma and what certain things in the early years create in an adult that makes them behave in this way. And I'm not making excuses, but some people, I don't know, I don't think it, I, I've never really honestly seen the point of a jury really. Because I think sometimes they sit there. How many of them must have been traumatized sitting for months listening to Lucy Letby? I mean, these are ordinary folks and then you've got no right of saying, but I'll lose my income because I'm self-employed. Well, they'll give you a minimum wage for doing it, but you lose out.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm not sure that with the way life has changed, let's put it that way, the way the complexity of life has changed so much, and there's an awful lot of culture that goes into some crimes that I'm not sure that a jury is rightly placed anymore. I'm not convinced. I've never been totally convinced, quite honestly, because if you've never been in domestic abuse, you don't understand the coercive control and the gaslighting that goes on with an abuser. You're 21 years old and you've got to make an opinion. If you haven't been sexually abused, well, and what if you have? I had a young girl, a client, who was 23, and it was a case she was called, and this is only going back 5 years. She was called, and at the time, she was working in a school of like 4 and 5 year olds, right? She was in the reception class, and yeah, you're going in now. You're going in. Right? They didn't know until when they got there, the big black guy, was in the witness box, and where he was the guilty one or whatever. Anyway, she was the first one to walk in, and she had to sit next to this glass box, right? And then it came out that this guy had murdered a 4-year-old boy. And before it started, she went to see the clerk and said, I can't listen to this. She said, I'm only 23, 24 years old. I teach children this age. I'm not, I have anxiety problems anyway. And she wasn't allowed to miss that trial, and she had to sit through it. She was an absolute mess. You get no support, regardless of what you've listened to. You're just given, oh, phone Samaritans. You have a duty of care for those jurors who are listening to stuff that they have no preparation for, and you don't know their well-being. Your name has been basically been drawn out of a hat, and you've got to do it. It's your duty. And no one is asked, what medication are you on? Do you have panic attacks? Do you have asthma? Are you capable of doing this? You're expected to do it. And this girl could not come out, and she had to pay in the end. And I got involved with her MP as well. She had to pay in the end about 3 grand to have her anxiety, depression, and she was seeing. And late at night, she'd leave the school, and it would be dark, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or it was dark. And she literally, sometimes she could see this hallucinated. She could see this guy's face on the bonnet of her car, and she couldn't drive. She'd have a panic attack. The crimes that are now you hear are just so awful. And I often think sometimes that you could either have someone lift higher the age group. But my hairdresser had to go into a case 3 years ago. She's what now, 28, and it was she really struggled afterwards. It was really serious rape of 4 12-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And she said, and she was absolutely traumatized afterwards. So I don't think you have the right to do that to what are ordinary people that have been told to step up and do this for the sake of justice. I don't think it's fair. And,
Well,
and if it does go, that you have a duty of care for people that are sat. You can't. I couldn't go and do a course and suddenly stand up and talk about child sexual rape without I actually have given a warning first that you have the right to walk out, you have the right to look after yourself. That doesn't happen in a trial to the
well,
jurors.
if we think about objections to jurors, this will come from, depending on which side your KC is operating from. He might pick up something the trial's delayed for even that reason. It is a minefield. It is very difficult. Therefore, one of the solutions, because there literally are 70,000 cases waiting to be tried at the moment, and to support your argument, I've not made my mind up about this, but to support your argument, Germany doesn't have trial by jury, anything.
I don't see the point. I
France
truly don't see the point.
France has what they're looking at now, roughly half by jury, the rest by a couple of magistrates and somebody with experience in judiciary, usually, obviously, a judge. But the other thing that comes out of this, of course, is that they reckon if you own up, a lot of this goes on in the States, 40% of the prisoners would not be there because you get a lot off or even bail, not bail per se, but restrictions, obviously.
Yeah, with on license, so you've got to
Yes,
report.
that's right. And whether you wear something around your ankle, whatever. And that will solve the jail problem as well as the judicial problem. Well,
Yeah,
it's under discussion.
I have thought quite a lot about this in recent years, actually, because as I say, when when people, I'm going back to when my dad was on it, I was about 11 years old and he was doing a trial up in Winchester, and then he was called three times. It's amazing how some people, their name keeps coming up. It's a bit like premium
Yes.
bonds. And then there was uh I can still clearly remember a guy called Harry Roberts. And oh my God, this man was a murderer, and it made front page of the Daily Express. I mean, crikey, it wouldn't even make back page now. I mean, it's just so common. And some of the crimes, as I say, are so, and like honor-based violence, for example, that never existed going back years and years and years. A lot of the cultural crimes, female genital mutilation. I mean, that's enough to make your average juror want to throw up. You have a duty of care to ordinary folks that have. Now, a friend of mine, I'm going back now 25 years, she was called for a major drugs case in Thames Valley Police, and she had to take all these notes. She was terrified afterwards in case people knew where she was, or because he went down and this guy was found guilty, and she was terrified that might have been somebody, as you see time and time again, where the jury are nobbled and blackmailed or followed, and she was terrified. And I don't think any system has the right to put people in that position, and I don't see the point of it. Is a trial going to be a lot shorter? Well, I suppose by the time the barrister keeps talking to the jury and plead his case or defend it, whatever, that takes time. And then the jury goes away for 2 or 3 weeks to discuss, are they, aren't they, are they, aren't they? And where the judge and the barristers and an expert witness, I think you're better off calling in 2 or 3 expert witnesses to listen rather than a jury. I think that would be my chosen route.
There you go. Lots of discussion around that one. Lots of discussion around this one because we are prone to give advice regarding diet on this program. We're going to talk about UPFs. Well, ultra processed foods.
Yeah.
And what isn't these days? But let me tell you that there are 20,000 deaths a year,
Yeah.
very premature because of this. And if
I
you're,
can believe it.
we're going to give you a list here of 10 foods that you should avoid like the plague.
Well, I'll
May
do a tick box.
surprise you.
See, I cook from scratch, so I don't have
Oh,
any process. I don't
nice
have any
oily
process,
fish, good for you, excellent.
and I make my own sauces.
Oh, that's depends what's in the sauce.
Well, there's no processed rubbish.
That's true. That does help. Let me tell you the guilty
Right, go on
parts
then.
in all this. Number one, orange juice.
No, won't have
That's
that.
healthy.
No,
Really? No,
no.
it's not.
Far too much sugar. Far too much
Well
sugar.
done. It's got the same amount of sugar in as Coca-Cola, and we know how bad
Won't
that
have that
is for
either.
you. That is incredible. So between 8 and 10 teaspoons
Mm,
of sugar.
yeah.
Wow.
Let me tell you, with Coca-Cola, I used to drink some when I was a teenager, and somebody told me, put a dirty coin in a cup and
Yes,
put Coca-Cola on top of it, and it comes out shiny
it
copper.
does.
What's it doing to your inside?
Yes. Let me also tell you that we used to clean our kitchen floors that way in the restaurants.
Now I've got a dog.
Left it overnight, and it comes up
I bet it
sparkling.
does. I
You've
bet.
got to be careful whether it's tile or linoleum in the old-fashioned sense. Of course, it's not these days, but it's made out of plastic, and it does work. So, okay, what can I do? Well, eat a whole orange because it's got the pith and juicy bits and goodness knows what, and it helps your digestion. The problem is not only the sugar, it comes and gives you a spike like you wouldn't believe. So if you're diabetic 1 or 2, you don't want these nasty spikes. And the orange, if you eat it whole, gets in the
But
bloodstream
if
slower.
you have got type 1 diabetes, like my son has, he has to keep orange juice in the fridge because if
Or
his liver went
emergencies.
wrong, he has to glug it straight down.
That's right. Yeah, that or a Mars bar. Mars bar's different to glug, but there you go. Same effect. So orange juice, beware. In fact, I've just received a letter, and this is from the US, whereby a couple went to a nutritionist for advice. We eat McDonald's every breakfast time, they said. Oh my goodness me, you sad people. So there you go, they go to McDonald's. Now look, McDonald's in the States is quite different.
Oh,
Uh,
it is.
what do you have for breakfast? Well, it's pancakes. Now, pancakes sound, that's all right. But when they come in layers
I
and there's lots
know.
of
Yeah, yeah,
sugar and
yeah.
nasties within
Maple
each layer.
syrup, pecan.
Oh, tell me.
That was horrible.
And what else? Sausage and a sort of glucose sauce on the sausage. And we have a glass of orange. Can you give us some advice? They said, yes, get rid of the orange juice, she said, the nutritionist. You're all right with the rest. Now, okay, it's not apocryphal, it's true. Perhaps she was pulling their hair, as they say in Spain, having a go. But there you go. So orange juice a no-no. Frozen pizza is number 2.
Frozen pizza.
Pizza.
I think pizza is so full of rubbish anyway. You pay a lot of money for a bit of bread with some tomatoes on it.
You do, if it's a frozen type, it's dead cheap to buy. Stick it in the oven, it's done. Not even a thought there. But there are certain things that sound good, or they used to do in the good old days, like vegetable oils. There's a rethink with vegetable oils, and they're not as good for you as we thought initially. The best, of course, is olive oil.
Exactly.
Can afford it in UK. I've got to say, with olive oils now, even the best extra virgin here has come down from about £10 to £4, and even less for extra virgin olive oil, a litre. Oh, I bet you wish you could get that in UK.
Well, the thing is as well, though, isn't it? Am I right in saying that you can't use olive oil like if you're, hasn't it got a lower heat where it changes its
Smoke point, flash
chemical
point,
something or
call it
other?
what you like. Yeah, you've got, it depends on.
Certain oils. There's vegetable oil, sunflower oil, olive oil. There's certain ones. I think if you're doing something like roast potatoes, then olive oil, that's what makes your oven smoke, isn't it? The breakdown of the oils or
You've got to be
something.
careful because if you
Yeah.
stick it as a simple example into a frying pan
Yeah.
and it starts smoking, throw it away.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I've read.
But you can with practice overcome the problem. Anyway, pizzas. There's various omega-3s and omega-6s. One is good and not one is not so good. But do it yourself. And let me give you a tip about the bases. Try a cauliflower base, and you think,
Oh, yes.
oh, it's horrible. Well, it depends if you make it yourself, whether it's horrible or not. But that is good for you. And try a base with lots of goodies in it, like bread. There are various types of bread. So that will make it half decent. You've still got the cheese, you've still got the tomato sauce, which is good for you, and various things you want to put on top. But so don't give up on the zero pizza. It is filling, it is quick to prepare. So you might as well do it yourself. Don't get it frozen. It'll cost you more doing it yourself, but there you go. The next one, Diet Fizz, like Diet Coke, like Diet anything. It's so full of chemicals, you might as well just drink chemicals. It is truly awful, and what a lot of people don't appreciate the sweeteners they use, whatever it is, and the number after it, actually gives you a craving for more sweetness. So you think, oh, it's going to do me good, but it doesn't. It dries
No.
your mouth out, gives you a craving, and it really is bad for you as well. And the phosphoric acid in Coca-Cola, we're not having a go at your Coke, because it used to be a health drink. Wow, how times have changed. It is certainly not that. And that'll do your bones in. It eats away at your bones. If you're osteoporotic, be very careful of that. Stay well off Coca-Cola. And the next one, which is everybody's favorite, including mine, and I've been banned, is ice cream and biscuits. Let's put the two together. They are truly awful. Cow's milk, a lot of people can't take cow's milk. They're beginning to realize that, oh dear, it doesn't affect me like, or it affects you rather, better than goat's milk and cheese of the different varieties.
Or
It's quite healthy.
almond milk, and I have oatly milk in my coffee. It's lovely. It's lovely.
Beware of the sugars with oat milk. That's the only thing. But yes, certainly better for you.
Because also you have it's a myth when you think well, people will buy things like Olivio spread or something like that. The healthiest thing is still butter. Rather than
Yes,
any of
indeed.
these spreads, butter is still the healthiest thing. But the other thing as well is when you look at yogurts and you see 0% fat, if you look at the sugar content, 0% fat yogurts have far more sugar in them than one that's got 5 or 10% fat. And that's because of the shelf life, isn't it?
Yes, it's and the cost, of course. Anyway, the things that you've got to avoid anything, and there's a lot of it around. Look at the label: high fructose syrups,
Yes.
concentrated
I
sugar.
look
They're
at it all.
truly all.
I honestly, I will look if it's, I will look at the ingredients on the pack before I decide if I'm going to buy it. If it's something new,
Yeah,
I look at see what is in there. And
yeah.
when you see what's in there, half the time you say no thanks. I mean, all the phosphates and the oh, what's the stuff they put in Chinese food and stuff? All those pre-made
MSG.
things.
Yeah.
Oh, MSG, yeah, it's disgusting. When you actually look at the back of it and you see the ingredients, think how much of that is actually healthy? Very
Yes.
little.
Anyway, listen. A tip again: if you want to make some decent ice cream, try bananas. Go online, get a recipe for banana ice cream. And that is positively good. But look at the various recipes because they can contain baddies. Stevia is obviously a choice as apart from sugar that's been highly manufactured. Not too much because it's very sweet, but they have improved stevia a lot. It doesn't, if you buy a decent make.
I'm not an ice cream fan at all. I
Oh, golly.
no, I'm not. I'm not a fan of desserts or cakes. Any, I used to, but
Yeah.
as I become older, I'd rather have cheese anytime.
Well, that's a good thing, by the way, that you get used to what you eat. And
Mm.
one thing one person says, "Oh, I can't have that." How do you cope with that? Well, they say the same thing about a real sweet that you love. So it's a question the body actually accommodates some of
Mm,
these
mm.
hippie
I
things.
don't know when it started actually, because I was the sort of person that would go out for a meal and look at the dessert menu first because I would want to have that. So I'd maybe start with a melon or something, or miss the starter because I knew I wanted. But now I would never. I never have any desserts. I
Cheat
very
was the
rarely
bill,
eat
I'll tell
my
you.
birthday cake. I don't eat it.
Having two courses instead of three doesn't half cheapen the bill. Move on, number five. Processed, especially, and red meat is not the healthiest thing. In moderation,
Mm.
okay. But I tell you what, processed meat, even in small quantities, is bad. And I love
Bacon.
chorizo and things like that,
No, no, I don't like that.
and strong tasting meats, but
Bacon is
I've been
bacon's
banned.
processed, isn't it? Bacon's processed.
Bacon is an absolute no-no.
It's lovely though, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, well, they all are, aren't they? They won't sell them otherwise.
Everything that's bad for you, yeah.
Yeah, but there you go. But of course, red meat is very good for protein. And oh, while we're on protein, by the way, again from personal experience, well, in this stage of recovery, I've got to eat a lot of protein. Good to help the bones knit together when they get broken. Having said that, there is a drink on the market, and I don't know what it's called in English, but Nestle make it. and it pretends to be a high protein drink, and it's not cheap. Comes in vanilla flavor and chocolate, whatever. And I've been fed at this by the nursing staff. And one day I looked at what I'd been drinking to increase my protein level for the last 6 months. And one sachet, one drink contains 27 grams of sugar. Yes. And they call it a health drink. They want putting in jail. As soon as I saw that, off-ski.
Do
That
you
was
remember when we were kids, that disgusting stuff, condensed milk, evaporated milk?
Oh no, listen, our West Indian community love that. Still,
Oh, and it used to be, I remember if, my mum goes back to like people coming for supper and it was a ham sandwich, and she used to say, "Oh, you've got people coming for dinner. Give them a ham sandwich, dear, and peaches and evaporated milk." Oh, that
oh,
is
I know that must,
disgusting.
you have to get used to that. It's horrible.
Horrible.
Yeah, right. Next one, number six, white bread.
Yeah, very bad for you.
I tell you what,
Very nice, very yummy.
very yummy, nice soft.
Makes the best toast.
It does. Although I found with my wretched diet a very good alternative, which costs a fortune. It's maize bread, and sometimes it's with buckwheat.
Oh,
But if you toast that, it's absolute. It breaks your tooth. You don't have any teeth left. Uh, but it really is gorgeous, mind you. So it should be at £12 a loaf. £12 a loaf.
oh, talking of cost, we were supposed to have gone to Wimbledon on Saturday, right?
Yes.
And strawberries were £12 for four.
No, that is awful.
We didn't go, it was too hot.
They're not that price in January for us. I mean, you get a bucket load at even January. There you go. The real killer in bread, there is more salt in bread than any other manufactured food. And that's because they use this very refined flour. They want to give it taste, make it soft, and they fill it full of salt.
I love
Stop it,
salt.
especially. There is a tip, actually, again. The darker the bread, and think of some German breads that are almost like black bricks,
Yeah.
and I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
But the darker the bread, the better, because it's full of bits, of course, and the whole seed, which helps you. So think twice about your sliced bread. Number seven, and you've mentioned it, low fat flavored yogurt.
Oh, right. Sorry. I jumped the gun. It was on your list. Sorry.
Well, that's all right. Full fat Greek yogurt is the natural stuff.
Has to be the natural Greek and not, you've got to be careful because you'll go into a supermarket and say Greek style. No, no, no.
No,
It has to be natural Greek yogurt. I always check the back that
yeah,
it was done, imported from Greece. That's the best yogurt. Very good if you've got digestive problems.
it is. Very kind on the digestive system. The biodome or whatever that's the new fancy word, isn't it? So what's wrong with your normal yogurt? Well, I'm sorry. It is so full of chemicals, as aforementioned, as not to be true. It is not a health food. It's quite the opposite. And you can do it yourself. In Spain here, we even have goat's milk yogurt. And you think, oh, no, it's all right. And if you put a spoonful of sugar-free jam, now that's not strictly correct, but there are certain makes of jams now that they put in grape juice to sugar it instead of sugar, make it sweet, and that is gorgeous with Greek yogurt. So there you go. That's the way around it.
But I make my own jam so that I don't. I
You make your own
jam.
Oh, right. Oh,
My own jam.
I bet it's with sugar.
No, well, I did blackcurrant jam the other day, and of course it's very high in pectin,
Yes,
so
it is.
it sets with very, very little sugar, and you're just getting blackberries or blackcurrants, and any day soon the blackberries, they're just, I don't know if you get them in Spain, do you? They're all about to fruit early because it's been the right sort of
Yes,
weather.
yes, we do get blackberries in Spain.
Yeah, I love blackberries
Up
when
the
they're
north.
first.
Yes, very healthy. You're not going to like this. Booze.
I don't care. I don't have any of the others, so I'm entitled to have that.
Oh, Well, you can, of course, you have. I mean, but there again, it depends who you listen to on this. Red wine was always the thing to take. It'll make you live longer. Black. Well, the latest science says no. In fact, 2 or 3 times a week, one small glass. She's just passed out, by the way. One
Sorry.
small glass with a meal, and that's about all you can
Yeah,
have because
right.
it, Marilyn, it shortens your life. Come on, get a grip, woman.
Life's for living, I'm afraid. I don't smoke. I don't eat sweets. I don't eat puddings and cake and biscuits. I just think I eat all the right yogurts. I do my own prepared food, and I think I'm no, I'm sorry, I'm not. I'm quite happy with my wine, thank you. It would be very rude not to. Somebody trod the grapes, and it's the fingernails and toenails that make the difference.
Well, less than an
No, I tell you
orangutan.
what though, when we were in Portugal, um, it was something like for a litre, it was something like 40. No, what do you get? You have a euro. What is it? Cents, isn't it? Cents.
Yeah,
It was about a
sensible.
euro or 2 euros for
Mhm.
a litre or something. And because all the expats would go in there and like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was drinking so much of it that I actually got sort of septic spots. And I went to the doctor on my back. I went to the doctor. I said, "Oh, what are these? I've never even had acne. What is this?" And he said, "Are you drinking our wine?" I said, "Is the Pope Catholic? Of course I am." Yeah, but what one? Which ones? And we were drinking the expats. We were drinking the ones that were in the grown and were sent to the cooperatives. You know what I mean? So Pedro might have a few, Miguel might have a few, and they go down to the cooperatives, all get stung in the same vat instead of like properly grown grapes for a specific reason. And they're very, very high in sulfides. And
Yes.
and funny, and I was at a barbecue the other day, about 3 weeks ago, and I was sat at this table with this lady, and I said, "Oh, Vina Verde, you want to be careful with that." So she, "Oh, I've just discovered it. It's my nice." I said, "It's nice," but I said, "How's your skin?" And she said, "Well, finally, you should say that. I've got all these spots on my back." I said, "Have you now? You show me." And she
Mm.
showed me. I said, "Mm-mm. They're sulfur, I said, allergic reaction. How much have you been drinking of this stuff?" Because I said it's absolutely filled with sulfides. And she, "Oh, I don't believe it." Looked on the bottle,
There he was. You
and she
can
had them.
buy
She
quite
had them. She had the
cheaply now.
septic spots from
Yeah, you can buy
cheap
quite.
wine.
I mean, look, 95% of wine is made this way, and it's a preservative. But you can buy wine in Spain anyway that is sulfide
Mm.
free, and taste is just as good.
Well, the good wines don't have it so much. I mean, it's the cheap wines that have the sulfides. And when you look at how much sulfide is in there, and if you're drinking a lot of it, which she had started because she loved this Vino Verde, I said, "You've got to find something else because those spots are not going to go away."
No, no. Number 9, coconut oil. Now, if you
That's
want to make a good
disgusting.
curry, coconut oil really helps. There are
Mm.
substitutes, but it really helps. But in a tin, which you usually get it in, there's a third more fat in it than butter. So that's how fattening it is. And beware. Can I give a tip, a secret tip? This is don't tell anybody about this. But if you're a curry maker and you want to have something different, and it's going to sound daft, get a really big heaps or 2 teaspoonfuls of jam in the
Oh,
curry, and the taste,
really?
yes, the taste is enhanced like you wouldn't believe.
Sort of jam.
Any jam, but better strawberry that I use. But any red jam, don't put marmalade in it. Although I suppose it could work. I've never tried it. But your strawberry jams and red currant jams, you try that with your curry, and I'll be getting complete. No, it lights it up. It gives it a different dimension. You
Wow,
can't
it's
taste
like
the
putting
jam.
it's very nice if you put black pepper, ground black pepper on strawberries. It brings
That's
out
right.
flavor.
It's a tip similar to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We've got to move on to number 10 very quickly. Oh my goodness me. Ultra. processed foods, of course, there's nothing better or worse than pot noodle and its
Oh,
derivatives.
that.
I
Oh,
mean,
I
it's
love.
quick, it's quite tasty, but I'm sorry, it's really bad for you.
Oh,
So many processes in that lot. Stay
mm,
away from things like that. It's not good.
I know.
And that can be extended a lot of stuff in the freezer. So if you're an Iceland addict, look at what's in there because by the time you get it, A, it will be bereft of many vitamins and
Yeah.
B, it won't taste very good. So there we go. Can I give you a final tip? If you want to alter your family's eating, and it takes a bit of courage, this, because a lot of the kids are used to these instant foods and they will hate you for the first month or so. But the tip is to do it craftily, sneakily, and gently. Don't go all out pouring olive oil over yourself. But do it very slowly, one meal at a time. And it's surprising how people get used to the
Yeah, yeah.
new regime. And can I finally find a say in this section, regard virgin olive oil as a medicine
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
rather than a cooking oil, because lots of medics are now saying just plain without cooking olive oil you can use on your salads, etc. But try it and see if you buy good quality olive oil that's not got a horrible flavour to it, like some of them have, because they're the fourth and fifth pressings. So spend another pound extra on extra virgin if you can afford it.
I think for children, some of the things with kids are textures. They don't like the texture of
That's
something.
true. And talking about children in all this, put olive oil on a toasted sandwich
Yeah.
and then cover it with a favourite jam, or in Spain, I think you have it in England, nocilla, chocolate sauce, but a
Oh,
very
Nutella.
yeah,
Nutella.
but yeah, but get a very good quality one. Probably you're best going for a hippie one out of a hippie shop that's got top cocoa ingredients and
Mm.
top hazelnuts. And that is absolutely gorgeous. And it's healthy. Not too much of it, of course, because there is sugar there. But with the olive oil, but use it instead of butter on a piece
Mm.
of bread or toast, as long as it's top class olive oil. You're like,
Mm.
oh, that's horrible. But it's not if you buy the right stuff.
Yeah.
So I've had my rant.
Gosh, after all of this, we ought to be living to be 100, won't we?
My goodness me. We've done the juries, of course. And if you want to get out of prison quicker, we're giving you a tip. Own up, and you might not even get there. The other thing that we got to cover, dementia. There's been a peculiar letter coming out from Her Majesty's government, and I suspect that they are going to try and kick dementia into the long grass. Of course, they
Mhm.
are. It's going to cost a fortune. It's the fashionable thing to have, and it's dreadful. And people just don't grasp how bad it is until they have either themselves or especially a member of the family with
Mm.
this, a close member. And this paper wants, it pretends to be a survey. They want advice from us poor plebs, what we think they should do. This is an excuse for doing nothing. But let me hand over to you and tell us about this.
Well, we belong to an organisation in Bedfordshire called Tibbs Dementia, and it's brilliant because when I first discovered about Roger having dementia, I was pretty much isolated for 8 months. GPs didn't even know where to bother pointing you to, nothing. And then I thought, right, let's research this. And because he had the Parkinson's, so let's look at Parkinson's. And I found about walking football, how good walking football is for you for Parkinson's. And then I found through that, Tibbs Dementia do walking football in our county for people with Parkinson's and dementia and Alzheimer's. So they have also a group called Early Onset. Now, if they're going to reduce and almost not mandatorily anymore have to support This is going to affect the lives of about 1 million people. And don't forget, it's not just the person who's suffering, it's the carer as well, who I don't get a penny for doing my caring. Okay, so you love someone, so you do it, but nonetheless, it's very hard to do, and you need support, the carer as well, in case you get carer burnout. And this is all slipping under the radar with West Streeting. And so the NHS are being, pulled back on dementia care and the prevention of it, because there was a thing the other day about if you stay active and laughing is very good, because it's come out that a lot of dementia is caused by a drop in your dopamine levels, which is, your happy thing like serotonin. And that can cause, because there is actually a drug called levodopa, which is, there's the dopamine, there's the clue to actually help the mood and help people with dementia and Alzheimer's. But, the number of people, I know people in their late 40s, early 50s that have got this. And if you can have preventative medicine, it's going to save a lot of money in the long run and save a lot of suffering and heartache. And this is all, you don't hear this on the news about, West Streeting is going to do this or the NHS is going to do it. You don't hear that bit. And before you know it, it will go through as a law. So I have actually written to my MP, because I live in Bedfordshire. This is definitely going to impact Tibbs Dementia, which is a most brilliant charity. And I've written to him. So he's got about 5 things now he has to raise in the House, or go around chasing himself and, going around in circles trying to get answers to it. But, there we are. I've written to the Archbishop of York today, disgusted. He's the only person that came out, and actually first only person to come out and talk about assisted dying, that it is God's plan alone when you die. And I've written to him, and I've written to him as well about this heinous decision on full-term abortions. But there's lots of stuff going on under the radar that we're not hearing about. And this has not made, this was found, I found this item of dementia cuts in the Tibbs newsletter. So that's not something that's out there in mainstream news.
Yeah, I mean, we've been through the mill this last 12 months, and I was placed in a facility to recover because I broke practically every bone in my body. And this particular facility had an amazing gym and physiotherapist,
Uh-huh.
which is what you need,
That is what you need.
even though you hate the physio, but
Yeah, but you have to do it.
you have to do it. So there you go. But it was a care home. And watch out for this. We keep saying it, folks. It's on its way. We have produced a shocking program about this. And in many care homes, this particular one, 85 to 90% of the people were dementia. They reached a certain age. So we experienced it with many, many people, talking to them, and it's a terrible problem. And it needs a lot of love and care
Patience.
and support and money. Sorry, government, but you're not going to get out of this one like you've done with the blood scam, with the post office scam, and with many others that you've got out. And now the atomic bomb scan, nothing's been paid, and it will continue thus, because we're great in the UK, especially with our civil service kicking things into the long grass. You're not going to get away with it, because you're clearly trying to with dementia. It's a mega problem, and there are so many different types of dementia.
Oh, there's 100.
Yes,
100 different types.
yeah. Somebody
But they
mentioned,
all end up going the same way. It doesn't matter whether it's front lobe, Lewy body like my husband's got, vascular dementia. It doesn't make any, it still manifests in the same way. Misery, suffering, and awful for the carers and the family. It's awful because you lose bits of the person, if that makes sense. So Roger is like, he's sleeping more, and you lose. I feel I've lost the part of him that used to say, "Are you okay? You're doing too much. Sit down. Let me do that." That is gone. It's very much, and a lot of people say the same thing who are carers. It's me, 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 meitis. It's all about me,
Yeah.
and you're just the person that slogs, you know. So when I was like, he wants to go to Wimbledon, we had these tickets, and I vetoed it completely because it was 38 degrees and really, really bad for dementia people. Heat, extreme heat impacts dementia. It does because the thermostat in the brain doesn't work, and so they can't control their body heat. So extreme temperatures either way are very bad for people with dementia. So I said, you can't go. I said, and anyway, I don't want to go in this heat because it'll be a 5 hour round trip. Didn't cross his mind. Didn't cross his mind. I never crossed his mind that I would be struggling. And so, and that's what they're like. And that's hard because you're giving everything to someone that you love, and you just do feel like a bit of a servant, really, a slave, really. You feel that that part of the relationship has gone and still that person. It's a very strange process.
Yes, indeed. Listen, we can't go without finally one set of stats, which is quite alarming, and it's from the America. Exponentially, there's been a growth in school shootings in America. Now, we can always criticize the Second Amendment and guns everywhere, but they have found out now conclusively there has not been one school that these idiots have arrived with an AK-47 and sprayed bullets everywhere that they've gone into that's been armed teachers, armed monitors. They've stayed clear. But it's those soft schools that say, oh, well, it will be all right. And they're taken advantage of. Now, we can't even think about this, but think America here. We would never do that in Britain.
No, my grandchildren, when I was over there, they had what was it called? A chaos course or something. Of what? And it was if somebody came into their school and was a shooter. So they wouldn't call it for what it was. It was what you do if there was chaos created by somebody coming in the school. So they didn't like tell the kids that, so that they called it a chaos course. And I said to my daughter, what is it? And she, it's just in case they got a shooter. You can't say that because the kids wouldn't want to go to school again. So it's, oh, if there was chaos, and these are the, if you hear this bell, you go here. And if you do that, all fun. This is Bermuda, nothing happens there, but they're on you never know, do you? You never know
No.
who's going to come in on a boat or where a freak is living.
Yeah. Sorry, we got to cut it short. We've cut it long today, and we've not been very cheerful today.
Well, there's not a lot to be cheerful about.
Well, I mean, you can't eat anything either now. I'm sure that doesn't
It's a
apply to
very
you.
strange world.
Yes, this is a master cook I'm talking to now. The time in the kitchen. It's good therapy. Come on, let's give
Oh,
it
I
a
do find
final
it.
word.
I do like, I have to say, I don't like cooking just because we have to do it every day in order to live, but I do like cooking for friends and family.
Yeah,
I do. It's a sociable thing to do.
it
And
is.
I do no, if I like making cakes as well, even though I don't eat them, I like making them for other people. And I
She
make jam
doesn't.
and marmalade, I make it for other people.
She doesn't care if you die. If I've made that cake. That's all right. We're going. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye bye.